Was I wrong on Arizona? My answer to that is I still don't know. Because here's the deal. That's Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils, by the way. He very much would like for me to still be right on Arizona. But
It's because
the
you are.
Wildcats went into Salt Lake City, and this is an impressive win. I don't really care who's a quarterback, except I do care who's a quarterback. And Kyle Whittingham not taking points with a backup quarterback was, shall we say, bizarre to say the least. But Arizona winning in Salt Lake City, that's a really hard thing to do, Richie. But I'm not on the Big 12 championship bandwagon just yet, though I don't know whose bandwagon I am on it for in this conference. It's the most wide open of any in college football, which is just the way that we drew it up. But what do you make of Arizona? And I don't know if you can say a good thing about Arizona, if that's something that can be verbalized, and that may or may not be why I brought you on this show.
They certainly are one of the colleges in the state of Arizona, and they have one of the football teams of all time, Spencer. They've got a really good connection between Fafita and McMillan, but as you have said on this podcast before, it takes more to be a good football team than a really good quarterback and a really good receiver, and they have been exposed throughout the year. I think everyone has chosen to forget that New Mexico and NAU, took them down to the wire, both of those in Tucson. You went to Utah, you got a win over Utah. That's great. That's awesome. You did it without Cam Rising, which is apparently one of the biggest deals in college football. That's a completely different Utah team. And I'll give them their flowers. It's a ranked opponent. It was top 10 at the time. Good for you. You still have proven to be closer to the bottom 8 in the Big 12 than you are the top 8 in the Big 12.
So here's where I am at with Arizona. I think they're going down this week at home against Texas Tech. Now, have the Red Raiders had their defensive issues? Yes. I'd feel a lot better if they could figure out how to stop literally anybody. However, the offense has been cooking. And I like the way that Texas Tech has played since their only loss of the year against Washington State in week 2 up in Pullman, which you and I both know is a very difficult place to play. I don't buy into Arizona. Arizona got my attention at the bar last week with a win against Utah, which is an ironic metaphor given that it's Utah. But they did not get me to go over and start a conversation yet. But if they beat Texas Tech this week, which I don't think they will, then I will say, okay, maybe I was wrong on Arizona. Maybe Brent Brennan has figured things out after the early stumbles, only one of which turned into a loss. And remember, yes, it was a blowout loss against Kansas State, but that was not a Big 12 conference game. So this team has a chance to remain unbeaten and have a head-to-head with a Texas Tech team that also could be an 8-9 win team at the end of the year, and that could matter a great deal.
Yep, I can tell you as an ASU fan who had to go to Lubbock, that is a much better team than I anticipated them to be. They are pretty good on offense. They got a running back named Taj Brooks, who's just absolutely phenomenal. The defense is young, it's inexperienced, but they have some really good flashes there. And I think it could give Arizona a little bit of trouble if Fafita struggles to find T-Mac, which, I mean, that's only really happened once this year against NAU. But if Texas Tech comes out with a good strategy to slow down McMillan, you could see Fafita struggle a little bit against this Texas Tech defense. I am with you, though. I got Red Raiders in Tucson. I think right now Texas Tech is just a red-hot football team. I think Arizona, they're coming off a great win. We've seen them more often than not this year struggle against their opponents. I got Texas Tech.
Yeah, I can't believe you picked against Arizona, Richie.
Who would have thought?
Shock and awe here in college football. Let's go to your game in the Big 12, though, because this is an interesting one. Before the season, I would have almost Sharpied this down as a loss for ASU. They're 3-point home favorites against Kansas, who are just regressing back to old habits. It reminds me of my golf swing because I have flashes where, oh, this is going great, and then all of a sudden, why am I doing this? I know it doesn't work. Kansas is not the football team that I and others thought they would be this season. Losing Andy Kotelnicki is clearly, broken. Jalen Daniels, I'm pretty sure he's had a turnover in every single game so far this year. There's something about Kansas, though, that makes me think they're going to go in and beat the Sun Devils. I'm so sorry, Richie, but I've got Kansas winning this game. I have Texas Tech winning 38-35 in Tucson, and I think the Big 12 schools in the state of Arizona both go down. Kansas 28-21.
So I can understand the logic that you're coming from. I can also tell you that Kansas is itching to get back in the win column. They've just been embarrassed all year long. And you would think at some point everything's going to start clicking for the Jayhawks. And it could be this week against an ASU team that is still finding its footing in the Big 12. They started the year 3-0 and out of conference play, but they went to Lubbock and they got humbled. They're back home. They're fresh off a bye week. They should be ready for Kansas. I was with you at the start of the year. This was a game that I put in pen, was a loss for ASU. I have very much changed that since then, and I'm sticking with my prediction here. I still got ASU over Kansas at home, if for no other reason than Kenny Dillingham and the athletic department promised the student section, if they stay for 60 minutes the whole game, instead of going to Mill Avenue in the second half, everyone receives a Chick-fil-A gift card. I mean, that's how you win football games right there.
Okay. I respect the effort. You know why? Because Chick-fil-A is delicious.
I'd stay for Chick-fil-A.
Let's go a little rapid fire around the rest of the Big 12 as well. UCF travels to Florida. I don't know why Billy Napier's still the head coach. The buyout must be a lot of money that Florida doesn't want to pay. But I think this is another instance in which they just contribute to the narrative of, yeah, Napier's not going to be our coach anymore. Give me the Knights to bounce back after a home loss to Colorado last week. I think they go into Gainesville where I'm sure the fans will show up and it'll be exciting because it's an in-state matchup, but 27-13, I like UCF to win this game.
Yeah, copy-paste what I said about Kansas, put it into Florida. They're underachieving, all that good stuff. UCF, though, is a good football team that just got embarrassed in Orlando. They're not going to Gainesville with the same mindset of playing underachieving football. Give me the Knights big, at least 2 possessions.
Iowa State hosting Baylor. I don't know why I have this recurring faith in Baylor to play better than they're actually going to. They have lost a lot of games in a row against actual Power 4 opponents. According to our friends at FanDuel, Iowa State favored by 11.5. I'll just for fun say this is a low-scoring game in which Baylor covers, but I don't think they actually look competitive. 24-14, give me the Cyclones.
I think that Baylor is a quality football team. Unfortunately, I don't think Aranda is the coach to get them over that hump. And at this point, I think a lot of other Baylor fans are kind of out on him as well. Meanwhile, what Matty Campbell's done at Iowa State over the last several years has been phenomenal and a ton of fun to watch. They also are serious competitors in the Big 12 right now, and that secondary is disgusting. I got Iowa State here pretty comfortably in Ames.
Yeah, playing at home, I don't see Iowa State losing that game. We'll see how much of a challenge Baylor can put up. But how about this one, Richie? In Stillwater, where Oklahoma State has been very beatable over the last couple of years.
Sure
They're playing West Virginia. I like the Mountaineers in this spot. I was down on Oklahoma State coming into the season. I'm sticking with it. I don't think West Virginia is a great team, but I don't think Oklahoma State is a great team either. So Mountaineers, 30-27, they get the win.
Wow. So not only is West Virginia getting a win, it's a high-scoring win. They're a quality football team too, and I'll tell you that I feel like West Virginia has not performed to my personal expectations. I thought they were going to be around an 8-win team, maybe a little bit better. I still think they go bowling this year, but I don't know. I'm with you. This could be a game they win. Unfortunately, I'm still sticking with the home team. I just feel like Oklahoma State at some point has to get things going. At some point, Ollie Gordon has to get things going. We've seen flashes from him. They just need to figure it out. Alan Bowman, he's fine. He is what he is. I trust Oklahoma State to eventually get things going. I think this could be a statement game. I'm with you. West Virginia could get the upset. I'm going to stick with the home team, though. Give me the Cowboys.
Lastly, Friday night game, TCU, Houston. I dare you. I dare you to pick the Cougars.
Cougars by 30.
There it is. No takesy backsies.
What? No. I've got TCU by 30. Sorry.
I've got TCU 45-20. Poor Houston. This is just a rough year for the Cougs. Can they beat someone who they shouldn't? That's the only question. Is can they have a win like ASU beating UCLA last year, where you look up and go, they beat who? They did what now? I think that would be. I think that'd be a successful year for Houston. Is if they can beat someone that shocks everyone and makes you go, hey, that's affecting the Big 12 championship picture. And oh, we just didn't expect that. But yeah, I got TCU 45-20, and I love having Richie Bradshaw as well. Locked on Sun Devils on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Richie, appreciate it.
As always, I appreciate you, Spencer. Fall down Arizona and forks up Arizona State.
I figured you might end it that way. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. And until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.